Hello, this will be a 180 read on self-confidence. And begin. Self-confidence is important for almost every aspect of our lives, but what exactly is self-confidence and why is it so important? Why should we be responsible for our own self-confidence? Taking personal responsibility involves making a commitment to your own well-being. Let's first talk about some situations where you would really like to feel more self-confident. First example could be in public situations like a party where you'll be interacting with people you know and people you don't know. You may want more confidence while working with your boss and coworkers, at work, while around people of the opposite sex, or while interacting with people you don't know, going on a first date, interviewing for a new job, or giving a presentation. In order to gain more self-confidence, we will define what it is and to know what exactly it is you are looking for. So, what is self-confidence? Self-confidence literally means to have faith in yourself. So when you are low in self-confidence, it's your self part that you are struggling with. A lack of self-confidence can make it easy for you to want to stay in your comfort zone, and how visualization can allow you to approach these situations with more self-confidence. A woman was invited to an event with a friend. She soon realized that she was barely going to know anyone else who would be attending. She was worried she'd end up at the singles table or maybe with a group of kids. If you've ever been through a similar experience, you can probably remember how you felt. Maybe you were nervous and had sweaty palms or butterflies in your stomach. The woman decided she didn't want to let her friend or herself down and wanted to step out of her comfort zone. She began thinking about how she wanted to interact with people once she was at the event. By visualizing herself feeling confident at the event, she was able to bridge the gap between where she was and how she wanted to be. The woman acknowledged her discomfort, did some visualization exercises, and went to the event anyway. This may sound simple, but visualization is a basic cornerstone when it comes to gaining confidence. Any personal development begins with taking personal responsibility. This means making a commitment to your own well-being, happiness, and levels of self-confidence. Your happiness isn't anyone else's responsibility. It is not anyone else's job to make you feel more confident. There's a reason why it's called self-confidence. Before you begin working on your confidence, you need to commit to taking personal responsibility for your self-confidence journey. To understand personal responsibility, you should first think about it at a behavioral level. If you do something that doesn't work out, you should take ownership of your mistake or failure. The same is true if something works well. You should also take credit for your achievements and acknowledge your contribution. This is a simple way to look at personal responsibility. And as an adult, this gets a little more complicated. Another thing you also need to be able to take personal responsibility for is your attitude and mood. When you reach a certain age, you then become responsible for your moods, your habits, and how you live each and every single day. Think about this. How many times you say things like, "they are annoying me," or "they frustrate me." Here, what you are really saying is, I choose to respond negatively to this person. So part of taking personal responsibility for our own behavior and how we in turn respond to them is by recognizing that people behave in various ways. Since we are adults, we have the freedom to control how we are going to respond to these people. If you break down the word responsible, it's easy to see that it's about being response-able. This means that you are able to respond to certain scenarios in the best way you can. You may have responded in ways that were self-defeating or lacking self-confidence, and now you're hoping to be able to respond to these situations in a different way. This starts by consciously deciding to change the way you will respond in the future and means committing to your own continual learning and development as you continue in this lifelong journey. When we talk about energy and personal responsibility, we are usually referring to how energetic and lively someone seems to be. It's important to recognize and acknowledge that we are always trying to do our best, but we also have the potential to always be building on our best. Let's look at this like a continuum. At one end, we have people who can almost be considered radiators, and their enthusiasm seems to rub off on everyone around them. At the other end of the spectrum, we have those who seem to drain our energy and positivity. You'll probably want to be someone who's more known as a radiator than a drain. If you take responsibility for your behavior and the way you show up, that is what you will become and also be known by others as. If you make an effort to be someone who shows up as a radiator, you will have a positive impact on everyone around you, and you'll notice that you receive the same energy back. So, what is the bottom line? Personal responsibility is about making a commitment to work on your own inner self-confidence, well-being, and happiness. This includes taking responsibility for your mood and attitude while making a conscious decision about the type of energy you want to give out. Personal responsibility allows you to be able to respond the way you'd like to respond in certain scenarios so you can move forward and be your best self. Now let's talk about your comfort zone. While you will have heard this expression before, you may not have considered how much time you spend inside your comfort zone and how this impacts your level of self-confidence. Often people associate confidence with being inside their comfort zones. But if you're doing something you don't often do or experiencing something new, you'll be outside of your comfort zone. And that means you may not feel confident. It's important to remember that you'll always be interacting with new people and experiencing new situations. These will naturally be outside of your comfort zone. The key is to learn how to deal with those situations in a more empowering and confident way. Take a moment and consider how you feel when you're driving your car. If you're an experienced driver, you're probably able to listen to the radio, talk hands-free on the phone, or think about your to-do list while you are driving. You may even find that you sometimes drive on autopilot and don't really remember the details of your morning commute. If you have years of driving experience, you can also consider this to be inside your comfort zone. Now, think back to when you were learning to drive a car. That was way outside of your comfort zone. You probably went through a mental checklist of any number of steps, like asking if your seatbelt was on, if you were in the right gear, if other drivers could tell you were learning, if you were going too slow, and on and on. Eventually, you gained the experience and confidence you needed to avoid these thoughts, and driving became part of your comfort zone. Interestingly, if you have a long-term issue or challenge, this will also be within your comfort zone because it's known and certain. The familiarity of your issues can make it even more difficult for you to give them up. When you begin moving out of your comfort zone, you'll encounter border guards. These are feelings of anxiety, worry, nervousness, and fear. It can help to think about the place outside your comfort zone as the big blue ocean of potential. All the things you already know and do well are within your comfort zone, but you have a wealth of experiences and knowledge waiting for you outside that comfort zone. That's why you can consider the place just outside of your comfort zone as the learning zone. Thinking about these new experiences as opportunities for growth and learning can make it easier for you to embrace them as you encounter them throughout your life. Now, let's talk about self-identity. You probably have a way of describing yourself, and this will include the things you can do and the things you can't do. If you find yourself saying that you struggle with self-confidence, you'll conform to this belief since it's the way you are self-identifying. You probably know someone who likes to say they'd be late for their own funeral. You're probably left waiting for them to turn up to coffee dates, brunch, and any other occasion. What's interesting is that many of these people truly believe that their poor time management and lateness is part of who they are. It's their self-identity. For this reason, any education they receive about time management won't work until they begin believing that always being late is about being disorganized. It doesn't have to be part of their identity. Now, to stepping outside of your comfort zone, it's important to recognize that if you're going to approach your levels of confidence differently, you'll need to move beyond your comfort zone. You can expect feelings of nervousness, worry, and anxiety to pop up, and this is perfectly normal. But by viewing this as an opportunity for growth, you can stop being stuck in a rut and take ownership of your journey toward more confidence. Here you will learn about what is called the hero exercise. This exercise is great for those times when you are in a situation that's slightly out of your comfort zone. and you could really use some self-confidence. Here's how it works. Step 1, start by identifying 3 or 4 people you admire. It's a good idea to grab a pen and piece of paper and write your answers down. The people you admire can be anyone. They could be celebrities, a family member, or a friend. And that's 10 minutes. Read your notes and listen to this again with your notes.